Let's rock.
Good morning, Murder Church. What's up, guys? Welcome in here. Actually, a little bit earlier today. See how much of this video we can get through. The Pamela Smart trial. Today we get Detective Daniel Peltier. I believe that's right. Takes the stand. The jury hears a damning recorded conversation, which we probably won't be able to hear. But we got 2 hours here. We'll see how far we get. Appreciate everybody coming through. Ruth, thanks for coming through. Wildside. Carrie, see how many other folks we can drag in along the way. I appreciate it. Give it some shares, give it some likes, and yeah, I got coffee brewing. I'm going to go grab that, and we'll start her up. We will start her up is what we will do. Something like that right there. Hopefully the Botrix wakes up. I forgot to do that, but.
Detective, in a nice, clear voice, would you please repeat your name so that everyone in the jury could hear, and would you spell your last name for the recorder?
My name is Daniel Pelletier. It's P-E-L-L-E-T-I-E-R. I'm a police detective with the town of Derry, New Hampshire.
Detective, I'm going to ask you to sit a little closer to the mic and see if you can speak into the mic, okay? And water on the table is put there for you. Detective, by whom are you employed?
The Derry, New Hampshire Police Department.
How long have you been employed by the Derry, New Hampshire Police Department?
7 years.
And what is your current rank?
I'm a detective.
How long have you been a detective?
3.5 years.
Before being a detective, what was your...
I'm going to get some coffee,
I was a patrolman.
and I will be back.
Calling your attention to
Hope
May
everyone's having a
1st,
good
1990.
weekend.
Did you have occasion to become involved in the investigation of the murder of Gregory Smart?
Yes, I did.
How did you become so involved?
I was contacted at my residence at about 10 o'clock at night, or 10:15 at night, to respond to the Derry Police Department.
When you got to the Derry Police Department, what happened after that?
I met with other Derry police detectives, and we went to 4E Misty Morning Drive.
Do you recall about what time you got to 4E Misty Morning Drive?
It was somewhere in the area of 11 o'clock.
And what happened once you got to 4E Misty Morning Drive?
We met with Captain Jackson, the division commander of the Derry Police, and we were assigned different functions. I videotaped the exterior and interior
I'll
of
be
the
back,
crime
guys.
scene.
And besides videotaping the exterior and interior of the crime scene, what else did you do at that time? Anything else?
At that time, I also walked around the outside of the building and looked around and talked them to see what other people had already done the investigation.
Did you have occasion on that evening to meet Pamela Smart?
Yes, I did.
Is she in the courtroom?
Yes, she is.
Just please identify.
The young lady in the pink suit at the defendant's table.
What time did you meet the defendant that evening?
It was 1:22 in the morning.
So we're talking about now May 2nd.
That's right.
And where is it that you saw the defendant?
She was at her in-laws' house, Mr. William Smart's house, and it's the road that's down the street from the condominium.
And how far was that from the condominium?
It was about a 3-minute drive.
And when you got to Mr. Smart's house, who else was there?
There were several people there, relatives and friends of the Smarts, and Pamela's mother and father, and other friends.
Now, what was the purpose of going to see the defendant at this time?
We were going to get a consent search so that we could search the condominium, and also so that we could search Greg Smart's truck, which was parked outside the front of the condominium.
Now, what do you mean by a consent search?
Consent search meaning that the owner of the renter of the condominium gives us her consent to search the interior of the condominium and the interior of the truck.
Where did you talk to the defendant at Mr. Smart's residence?
We walked in, we went upstairs, and she was sitting in the living room, and she got up out of the living room, came over to us, and we had to sit down in the kitchen where there were less people. It was a little more quiet.
How did she appear at that time?
When I first saw her, her head was in her hands, and she had a sad expression on her face, and she got up out of the chair, walked over, and she sat down.
What, if anything, did she say to you at that time?
I don't recall specifically what she said. She asked a couple of questions. I don't recall exactly what they were.
What was the substance of what she said?
I don't know. It had to do with what had happened that evening.
Okay. Did you get the consent form signed?
Yes, I did.
Do you have any hesitation on her part signing the consent forms?
No, she said she wanted to do anything she could to help when she signed the consent form.
And after you got the consent forms, what did you do?
After that, I took the 2 consent forms, one for the truck and one for the condominium, and I brought them back to the crime scene at 4A Misdemeanor Drive.
And what did you do with those consent forms?
I handed them over to Captain Jackson in the Attorney General's office, who were at the crime scene.
Now, how long were you at Mr. Smart's residence talking to the defendant when you got the consent forms signed?
Only 15 minutes or so.
And when you brought them back to the crime scene, you said you handed them over to who?
The Captain Jackson and a member of the Attorney General's office, Cynthia White.
And what happened at the crime scene after the consent search forms were signed?
The state police conducted the processing of the house, the condominium.
Now, did you partake in that processing of the scene, or that was handled strictly by the state police?
No, that was handled by the Major Crimes Division of the State Police.
Now, who was handling the investigation of this? Who would be handling the investigation of the murder after the processing of the crime scene?
Be the Derry Police Department.
And who in the Derry Police Department was assigned this case?
I was the lead investigator.
And what does it mean to be the lead investigator?
I take care of all the paperwork that comes in, and I coordinate what happens with my captain, the supervisor.
And when you say you coordinate with your captain, that is Captain Jackson?
That's right.
Now, did you have occasion to see the defendant again that night?
Yes, I did.
Can you tell us where that was?
And it was May 2nd at 2:30 in the morning or so. I went back to the residence where she was at her in-law's house, William Smart's house.
And who did you go back there with?
Myself and Detective Barry Charwitz.
And you say 2:30 in the morning, this is about an hour after you got the consent form signed?
That's right.
And why did you go back at this point?
When we were originally there, several people that were in the house, including Pamela's mother and some of her friends, related to myself and Detective Charwitz that she wanted to talk to us. And she was wondering why we wouldn't talk to her right away, and she wanted to tell us some things that she thought might help us out.
So when you went back there at 2:30, what happened?
We went back and we met her there. She came down the stairs, and several of her friends also came up with her. And she was willing to talk to us. She wanted to come and talk to us. So we had her...
I'm sorry, go ahead.
We had her follow us to the Derry Police Station where there were less people, a more controlled environment where we could talk to her where it was more quiet.
Now, how far is the Derry Police Station from Mr. Smart's condominium?
It's only a few miles.
So what happens at the police department?
We got to the police station and she came inside and we sat her down in an interview room, her, myself, and Detective Charwitz.
Were any of her friends or family members present at this time?
No, they didn't come into the interview room with us.
And what did you do at that point?
She started to tell us some things, and we got a little bit of background on what happened when she came home, what she saw when she came home.
Can you tell the members of the jury what the defendant said she did when she came home that night?
She said she arrived home and all the lights were off in the house. She parked her car, walked up to the door, put the key in the door, turned the key, and when she opened the door, when she pushed the door open, she said she noticed Greg's foot after turning on the light. She looked at Greg's foot, opened the door a little more, and noticed he was laying in the foyer, laying on his stomach with his face facing her. Said she also noticed that there was a candlestick, and she thought it was by his head, and she also noticed that there was what looked like a blue pillow by his head. And she also mentioned that she saw a speaker that was taken off a stand that was in the living room.
And after she opened the door and saw this, what did she say she did next?
She said she immediately, she knew that she shouldn't touch a dead body because of shows that she watched, like Rescue 911.
Dead body.
Shows
The
of that
dead
nature.
body.
So she turned around.
I ain't touching no
She
dead
turned
body.
around and she ran
son.
out of the building, and she started to scream.
Now, did the defendant say that she thought the body was dead? Greg was dead?
I don't recall if she specifically said that. She said she knew she shouldn't touch a body.
And then what did she do?
Then she turned around and ran outside, and she began to scream for help.
And did she say where she went to screaming for help?
Yeah, she ran to a next door neighbor's house, banged on the door, and she said she got no response from them. So she banged on another door, and finally someone came over.
Now, after May 2nd, 1990, did you speak to her again?
Yes,
And when was that?
May 3rd.
By the way, after you spoke, when you were speaking to her on May 2nd, 1990, did you then let her make out a written statement of what happened?
Yes, I did.
Now, after speaking to her on May 2nd, when was the next time you talked to her?
It was May 3rd.
And what was the purpose of speaking to her on May 3rd?
We wanted to get a list of names of people that had been in the residence in the recent past that may have left fingerprints around the house for elimination purposes.
When you say elimination purposes, what do you mean?
Anyone that's a friend of hers, a relative of hers, or someone she knew that was in the house, we want to know if they touched anything. If we find their fingerprints in it, there's a reason why they're in there.
And when you asked her for these names, did she provide them to you?
Yes, she did.
Can you tell us what names she provided you with at that time?
There were 9 names. I'd have to refer to the report to tell you all of the names.
That would help you refresh your recollection? Go
Yes.
right ahead.
Okay, the names, which are on page 51 of the police report.
Hang on a second. Do you want a minute? Okay, go ahead.
Thomas and Heidi Perilla.
Say it again.
Thomas and Heidi Perilla. Christopher and Sonia Simon. William and Judy Smart. Yvonne Pellerin. Stephen Payment. And Richard LaFont.
Was the name Cecilia Pierce mentioned at that time in any fashion?
No, it wasn't.
How about the name Bill Flynn?
No, it was not.
Now, how many detectives were working on this case with you?
From the outset, there were 6 detectives originally assigned.
And can you tell the members of the jury that after the first couple of days, or right after the homicide, what was Derry Police Department engaging in? What's the nature
What's up,
of the business
Teresa?
at this point?
Okay.
I did which I basically was like, I basically canceled my Tuesday show because I was having internet issues again. And so I ended up doing the Tuesday show just because the internet came back. But I did pretty much cancel that show. But I said, fuck it, we'll do it. I'm pretty sure Teresa was the only person actually in chat for the actual show. I was like, all right. Teresa, welcome in here.
From here, the thing we want to do is find out background information on everyone that was directly involved, and we work out from there. We took Pamela Smart and Gregory Smart and started doing background on them, and any names of friends that they gave us, we started doing background on them.
How far did your leads take you?
We got some tips and leads that brought us to New Jersey, some tips and leads that brought us to Massachusetts, and several in New Hampshire.
Now, during the course of your investigation, did you ever speak with one Cecilia Pierce?
Yes.
And when was the first time you spoke with Cecilia Pierce?
On May 17th, I contacted Cecilia Pierce by telephone.
And why were you contacting Cecilia Pierce?
On May 9th, Pam Smart gave us Cecilia Pierce's name as a friend of hers that wasn't a common friend between herself and her husband.
Now, did she contact you or did you contact her on that day, May 9th?
I don't recall which way it went.
And what was the purpose of the information that she gave you about Cecilia?
We asked for friends that weren't common between herself and her husband, friends that weren't friends of Greg's, that were specifically and exclusively friends of hers.
And she gave you the name of Cecilia Pierce?
Yes, and also the name of Ann Pierce.
She mentioned Bill Flynn.
No, she didn't.
So when you called Cecilia Pierce on 5/17, did you eventually speak with her?
Yes.
Now, calling your attention to June 10th, 1990, were you working that day?
No, I wasn't.
Did you have occasion to take any official police action on that day, even though you weren't working?
Yes, I did. I was home again, and I got a call at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and that was from the dispatcher of the Derry Police Department, and that was to respond to the Seabrook Police Department for a lead in this case.
Now, when you got to Seabrook Police Department, were there any other members of the Derry Police Department there?
Yes, Detective Barry Charowitz, Detective Michael Surrett, and Captain Lauren Jackson.
Now, is this a common occurrence in the Derry Police Department to be called in on a day off if something happens?
Yes, but not in that number of detectives.
Okay. So when you got to the Seabrook Police Department on June 10, 1990, what happened?
I met with Captain Jackson and Detective Charowitz, and Detective Charowitz had done some interviews of some people from that area that had come into the Seabrook Police Department.
Specifically, do you know who Detective Charowitz had interviewed?
Yes, he interviewed Vance Latimer Sr. and he interviewed Ralph Welch.
And did you have occasion to review that interview of Ralph Welch?
Yes, I did.
And how did you review it?
There was a videotape of the interview between Detective Charowitz and Ralph Welch that I watched when I arrived at the Seabrook Police Station.
Now, after arriving at the police station, what did you do?
I also I watched all the interviews and started to put together some information for furtherance of the investigation.
Did you go anywhere?
Yeah, myself and Detective Lucier, who also showed up at the scene, went to the Pamela Smart's condominium in Hampton on
Now, when you say
Landing Road.
Pamela Smart's condominium in Hampton, this is different than the condominium in Derry, correct?
That's right.
And you went there with who?
Myself and Detective Paul Lucier of the Derry Police Department.
Do you recall approximately what time it was that you went there?
I don't recall offhand, no.
And when you got there, what did you see?
We saw a vehicle that was parked out front that was registered to Michael Welch.
And where was this vehicle parked?
It was parked in the driveway of Pamela Smart's Landing Road condominium.
Now, besides seeing this car parked in the driveway, did you see the defendant's car?
No, I didn't.
Were you familiar with what kind of car the defendant drove?
Yes, I was.
And what kind of car was that?
It was a Honda CRX.
Now, did you check the garage to see if the car was in there?
No, I didn't.
Why not?
There was someone in the window when we drove by. Detective Lucier noticed that there was a female that was looking out the window. It looked like the silhouette of a female.
Did you then continue on?
Yes, we drove through.
And what kind of car were you in?
We were in an unmarked police car.
What does an unmarked detective car look like here? Like an unmarked detective car? Or?
This was an undercover car. It didn't look like an unmarked. It wasn't an unmarked LTD.
And then you went where?
From there, we went back to the Seabrook Police Station.
When you went back to Seabrook Police Station, what did you do?
We got the names of other people who could corroborate the stories, the information that we had learned from Ralph Welch and the other people who were interviewed.
And after doing that, what happened next?
We
What
went
else
out.
happened?
We went out and interviewed those people who we learned could corroborate the information.
Did you conduct any searches that evening?
Yes.
Can you tell us what searches you conducted?
Seeking justice.
Detective
Thanks for the
Surratt
cheer on
had
X, guys.
interviewed
Appreciate that.
Raymond Fowler, and
Tracy
Raymond
helping
Fowler
me
had
out.
told him that some of the clothing, or there was an article that was involved with the case that was thrown on the side of the road in the town of Seabrook. Myself, Detective Surratt, and Raymond Fowler drove along the road, and Raymond Fowler was pointing out spots where he thought this item might have been. We never found the item.
What else did you do that evening?
It was the following day that we started to
Yo, Poe, good morning. I hope you're doing
get into
good.
other aspects of the investigation.
Okay, I'm sorry. So when I asked search, you didn't conduct any other search that night, is that correct?
That's right.
Now, do you recall who was interviewed on that day and the following day?
On the following day, Cecilia Pierce was interviewed.
Okay, I'll get that interview in a second. What other searches did you do then the following day?
The following day, we searched the residence of Vance Latimer Sr. and the residence of Patrick Randall.
And what authority did you have to search the residence of Vance Latimer Sr. and Patrick Randall?
I obtained a search warrant through the Hampton District Court.
And who engaged in the search of Vance Latimer's house?
It was myself, Captain Jackson, and Detective Charowitz, Detective Carlene Thompson, Detective Sergeant Carlene Thompson of the Seabrook Police Department, and there were 2 uniformed Seabrook police officers also.
When you got to Mr. Latimer's house, what, if anything, did you recover?
We recovered a set of Kenwood truck speakers with 8-inch speakers inside a case.
Can you tell the members of the jury where these truck speakers were when you recovered them?
The truck speakers were in a bedroom that was identified by Mrs. Latimer as Vance Latimer or J.R. Latimer.
Were they just sitting in the bedroom? Were they hooked up? Can you give us some idea of what they were, how they were in that bedroom?
Yeah, the 2 speakers were on a handmade plywood box. The box had a car stereo that was hooked into it too. And the speakers were hooked up to that car stereo.
This
What
is
time did this?
Detective Daniel Pelletier takes the stand, and then it says the jury hears a damning recorded conversation involving defendant Pamela Smart. I'm predicting that we're probably not going to be able to hear that clearly, but yeah.
Search take place?
It was in the area of 8 o'clock.
Sydney, welcome in. Good morning.
It's June 11th.
June 11th?
Right.
Detective, I'd like to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 42A into evidence and ask if you recognize this.
Yes, I do.
What do you recognize this to be?
This is one of the speakers that I recovered from the Lattamy residence on June 11th.
Showing you State's Exhibit 42B. Do you recognize this?
Yes, I do.
What do you recognize it to be?
This would be the other speaker that was recovered that day.
Now, how is it that you recognize these speakers?
These tags were placed on the speakers by Detective Charowitz, and my initials are also on there in magic, in a marker.
When you went to the Lattamy residence that evening, were you specifically looking for these speakers?
Yes.
Besides searching the Lattamy residence, where else did you search?
There were other officers that searched the Randall residence.
Besides searching the house of Mr. Lattamy, did you search any other parts of his property?
For anybody that heard me, I was trying to do the stash and sideburns that were like coming up into the point to like right here. I did it, but I kind of fucked it up on one side. It was like a little too high over here, and so I just did the burns and the handlebars, but probably can't really. Like this side was okay. I don't know if you can even make that out. You can kind of see. I thought it was a little better. It still needed to come up higher, but I didn't commit to like going higher up on the stash yet because I still wasn't sure. My hairy chest also. But look at this side. This side had like a weird. It was kind of just like swooping up just a little too high. I said, "Fuck it. We'll try it again next time." We'll try it again next time.
Property?
Yes.
What was that?
We searched a trailer that was in the back of the residence.
And did you recover anything from that trailer?
No, we didn't.
And was anything recovered to your knowledge from the Randall residence that evening?
No, there was nothing. There was something recovered. There was a knapsack that was recovered from there.
Now, was Vance Lattamy at the Lattamy residence that evening?
No, Vance
sorry,
Lattamy
I'm saying-
Jr. was not at the residence.
I misspoke. That's what I meant to say. Vance Lattamy Jr.
No, he wasn't there.
Was Pete Randall?
No,
Was Bill Flynn?
no.
Were you looking for any of those individuals?
At that point, we had arrest warrants for all three of them.
Did there come a time on June 11th, 1990, when you saw any of those individuals?
Yes.
And what was that?
We returned to the Seabrook police station after finishing the searches. We were advised that the three of them were at a movie. And someone from Seabrook PD had checked out the movie, I don't know where it is, somewhere in Seabrook, the movie house, to see if they were there. After we went back to Seabrook, the three of them turned themselves in to the Seabrook police station.
And who were they accompanied by when they came into the police station?
William Flynn's parents weren't there. I believe Vance Lattamy's parents were there, and possibly Patrick Randall's parents.
Now, that evening that you conducted, or searches were conducted, of the Randall and Flynn, I'm sorry, Lattamy and Randall residence, were any searches conducted of the Flynn residence?
No.
Now, you said earlier that you also, one of the people you had an opportunity to speak with was Cecilia Pierce.
That's right.
Now, when was this interview with Cecilia Pierce?
It was somewhere around 4 or 5 p.m. on June 11th.
So this would be before the searches of the Lattamy and before the arrest, is that
That's
correct?
right, yes.
And this would have been the second or first time that you spoke to Cecilia Pierce?
I spoke with her once on the phone. Detective Charowitz talked to her once, and this would have been the second time I talked to her.
Okay, then You spoke to her on the phone, I believe you stated May 17th, is that correct?
That's right.
Do you know when Detective Charwood spoke with her?
On May 21st.
Were you part of that interview?
No, I wasn't.
On June 11th, how was it that Cecilia Pierce was contacted by the Derry Police Department? Did you contact her, or did she just happen to walk in?
We contacted her to talk to her.
And where would the interview take place?
When she arrived, we brought her back to the detective's office at the Seabrook Police Department.
And when you say when she arrived, who was with her when she arrived?
I didn't see her arrive. When I went out to the hallway to meet her after learning that she was out there, I saw Pamela Smart, Cecilia Eaton, who's Cecilia Pierce's mother, and Cecilia Pierce in the hallway. In the
Now, when
front
you saw
foyer.
the defendant, did she say anything to you?
Yeah, she said, "What's going on?"
Did you have any conversation with her?
I told her I didn't want to talk to her at that point.
And how did she appear to you?
Excited, nervous.
And when Cecilia Pierce, after having that conversation with the defendant, what did you then do?
When we were finished talking to the
No,
defendant,
when you were finished talking to the defendant, what did you then do, is what I meant.
we brought Cecilia Pierce back to the detective's office at Seabrook PD.
And who was part of that interview?
Myself, Captain Jackson, and Detective Charowitz.
How long did that interview take?
Approximately 15 or 20 minutes.
15 or 20 minutes?
Right.
And who was present for that interview?
Myself, Detective Charowitz, Captain Jackson, Cecilia Pierce, and Cecilia Eaton.
Cecilia's mother.
Right.
How did Cecilia appear during the interview?
She appeared nervous. She was looking at the ceiling. She didn't want to look at us when we were talking to her. I conducted the interview. She sat across from me. And as I was talking to her, she crossed her arms, crossed her legs, and sat back and would stare at the ceiling like she had something better to do.
And at some point, did she leave?
Yes.
Did she say why she left, or why she had to leave?
She said she had a driver's ed appointment she had to keep.
Now, after talking to Cecilia Pierce on June 11th, now, what day of the week was it?
June 11th was a Monday.
After speaking to her on that night, did you ever have occasion to, well, let me rephrase that. When was the next time you saw her?
The next time we saw her was June 14th.
And how did you see her?
I received a phone call at my residence to go to the Derry Police Department to conduct an interview with Cecilia Pierce.
Just for background, on June 11th, did Cecilia Pierce give you any information or knowledge she had about the murder of Gregory Smart?
No, she did not.
She denied having any knowledge?
Yes, she did.
And do you know what her statement was to the police department on May 21st by Charowitz, to Detective Charowitz?
Yeah, she was asked if she knew anything of this, and she said no.
So that would be the second time she denied it to you on June 11th,
That's right.
How did the Derry Police Department react to that denial by Cecilia Pierce
Which denial?
on June 11th?
We told her that we didn't think she was telling the truth, and we knew she was hiding something.
How did she react to that?
She said she didn't know anything. She continually said that, and she appeared nervous, and she didn't want to talk to us anymore. She said she had something to do.
Was she threatened in any way?
No, she wasn't.
Did Captain Jackson say anything to her?
Yeah, he said if she continued her actions that she may be guilty of harboring or hindering an investigation.
How did she react to that?
Yeah, she continually said she doesn't know anything.
Was Mrs. Eaton present during that?
Yes, she was.
At any point, Mrs. Eaton... No, I'll withdraw that question. And this all took place within the interview on June 11th, within the 20 minutes or so?
That's right.
Now, how did you first see the Cecilia Pierce on June 14th?
When I received the phone call to respond to the Derry Police Department, I arrived there at around 11 o'clock in the evening.
Where were you at that time?
I was at home.
Does that happen to you a lot in this case?
Yeah, it did.
So after being called at home on 11 o'clock on June 14th, what happened when you got to the Derry Police Department?
When I got there, I met Sergeant Byron and Captain Jackson of the Derry Police Department up in the detective's office. Cecilia Pierce was also up in the detective's office with her mother.
Yo, Teresa, thank you very much. I appreciate that. $10. Let's see where we're at on this will. Let's get you on here real quick. Let's see. Been working on this one for a minute. Ah, yes, Teresa. We do not have your name on here, though. Now you've got a chance to win something cool. Teresa with a $10 holla. Thank you so much.
Give me the loot! Give me the loot!
Oh, man, I didn't do the bells either. We're going to get some bells going. Well, I count this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so we're 3 away from a spin. We haven't spun a wheel in like a month, I feel like, actually. It's been a long time. But hell yeah, appreciate that, Teresa. Let's fucking go. We'll get there. Thank you so much.
And there was a representative from the Attorney General's Victim Witness Advocate Office there also.
What happened at that time?
I met with Sergeant Byron. Sergeant Byron said that he had already talked to her somewhat on what she wanted to tell us, and that she had information linking Pamela Smart to the murder.
Did she give a statement at that time?
Yeah, right after that, we did a videotaped interview, and I ran the videotape while Sergeant Byron conducted the interview.
So Sergeant Byron conducted the interview, and you ran the videotaped the statement of Cecilia Pierce.
That's right.
And what time of night did that videotaping process take? I'm sorry, what time did it start?
Somewhere around 11:30.
And how long did the statement take?
Probably not more than half an hour.
And how long did you talk to Cecilia Pierce before taking the statement?
I personally only talked to her for 5 minutes or so.
So you got called at 11, you got to the area, the police department, what time?
It was sometime between 11 and 11:30.
And how long after you got there did you do the videotape?
It was just a short time. I talked to Sergeant Byron, who decided that he should do the interview since he had already talked to her that evening.
Now, after interviewing Cecilia Pierce on that evening, did you have any further involvement with Cecilia Pierce in this case?
Yes.
Can you tell us what that involvement was?
After the taped interview, she got something to drink from our Coke machine downstairs, and she was just talking to us, and she seemed more relieved than I had seen her previously on June 11th. She was more relaxed after that.
After that night, my question was actually addressed after that night. Did you see her or have any further involvement?
Yes,
And when was that?
on June 19th.
Can you tell us what the purpose of your involvement with Cecilia Pierce was on June 19th?
On June 19th, we conducted a one-party consent telephone tap at Cecilia Eaton, Cecilia Pierce's residence in Seabrook.
When you say a one-party consent telephone tap, what do you mean?
That's a telephone conversation that's recorded by the police in which one of the parties in the conversation consents to have that conversation recorded.
And who was the person who consented in this case?
Cecilia Pierce.
Did you discuss that with her before doing this one-party consent telephone tap?
Yes, on June 11th we had talked about with her. I'm sorry, not June 11th, on June 14th when she came to the Derry Police Department. After that interview, we had talked to her about possibly wearing a body wire or doing something of that nature.
Now, when you say June 14th talking to her, you mean actually the early morning hours of June 15th, correct?
That's right, yes.
Okay. Now, what time of day were you that you were at the Pierce residence?
It was just before 3 o'clock.
And who was there with you?
Myself and Captain Jackson.
And besides you and Captain Jackson, who was there with Cecilia?
Cecilia's mother was there, and her father, or stepfather, and her sister were in the house, but had left when we conducted the actual telephone tap.
And can you give the jury some indication of the type of equipment you're working with at this point?
Yeah, we brought a telephone with us. We brought 2 microcassette recorders and tapes to go along with that. The microphone that we were using was a suction cup that you can buy anywhere, and it plugs into the microcassette recorder, and also an earphone so that we could listen while the conversation was being taped.
Now, where does the suction cup go?
The suction cup goes on the receiver of the telephone.
It plugs into one of the microcassettes?
Right.
And that is for the purpose of picking up the conversation coming over the phone.
That's right.
And what was this earphone you were speaking about?
The earphone was plugged into the machine also, and I had it in my ear so I could listen to what the defendant was also saying while Cecilia Pierce was talking to her.
Now, you mentioned the defendant. Who were you going to have Cecilia Pierce call? The defendant?
Pamela Smart, yes.
And where was this conversation, where was she going to call the defendant?
Pamela Smart was at work at that time at the SAU 21 building in Hampton. We had Cecilia Pierce call her there.
And prior to having Cecilia Pierce, you know, I think I asked you this, the earpiece goes into the microcassette so you can hear the conversation too?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, I'm not sure I brought that up. Prior to placing these phone calls, or this phone call to the defendant, did you have any conversation with Cecilia Pierce as to what she should do on the phone?
Yes, we did.
And what was that?
We told her we wanted her to call Pamela Smart and give the impression that the police were on their way over. They had just called from their car phone. They'd be there any minute, and she was sick of lying. She didn't know what she should say.
So you were
NBW,
feeding these
get in
lines to
here.
Cecilia Pierce, is that
Yes,
correct?
that's
I was
right.
muted there.
And,
Welcome in.
well, how did you decide to choose these specific topics?
From the interview that we had done on June 14th, we learned specific information that Cecilia Pierce knew that Pamela Smart had that
Now-
implicated her.
Did you give her any list of questions? Did you write anything down for her?
On June 19th, we didn't write anything to put in front of her before she called. What we did was we told her verbally what she should say. We instructed her what to do, and as she was talking to Pamela on the phone, as I was listening, we were writing things down that she should say as she was talking.
We don't mind it being dark in the phone, so we push back for a second.
I think just the one side we're talking about. Is that what,
Yeah.
all right, there's, Your Honor, I'm sorry, Your Honor. Okay. I think, Your Honor, the parties can agree that there's only one side of the sheet of paper which is relevant, and I believe I have Xerox copies of the one side, and if and when the jury wishes to look at it, I can provide that to the jury. That's an agreement.
Why don't you mark that one side? One-sided document as the exhibit, then if it's a true copy.
I can find it quick enough.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Can I see them both? True copy.
Okay, Detective, showing you what's marked as State's Exhibit number 78, a copy of your original note paper. Are those the comments that you had provided to Cecilia Pierce?
Yes, they are.
Can you tell the
Wendy
members of the
Williams,
jury
welcome in here.
what types of things you had written down?
Wendy Williams enters the chat. What a great name for YouTube. Now, this is not the beginning of the trial or this video. We're about 30 minutes into the video and pretty deep into the trial. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, the first line is, the cops are on their way over. They just called from the car phone. One of the other things we wrote is, I don't know what to say when I'm under oath. One of the other things is, I'm scared, I don't know what to do. What if they ask about you and Bill? And what about when I walked in on you and Bill when you were in bed? Also, why did you have to have him killed or kill him? You should have just divorced him.
And this is stuff you were writing down while she was on the phone, is that correct?
That's right.
Now, what was Cecilia Pierce's reaction upon your request to do this phone tap?
On the
guy's very
request on
kind of-
June 19th,
This guy's got a very professional
she
cop
wanted to do
staff.
it. She was willing to cooperate with us.
And you discussed that with their mother as well?
Yes.
What time was the first call placed?
It was 2:55 in late afternoon.
And who dialed the number?
Cecilia dialed the number.
Can you tell us where this was going on in the Pierce residence?
It was in their kitchen. We were seated around the kitchen table.
And who was there?
Myself, Captain Jackson, Cecilia Pierce, and Cecilia Eaton, her mother.
Now, before you made this phone call, did you conduct any testing of the equipment?
Yes.
Do you have any problems?
No, not at that time.
And what happened after you placed the call? What happened then?
We placed the original call. She made contact with her, and we ended the first call.
How long did the first call take?
About 7 minutes or so.
And were you able to hear this conversation?
Yes.
And were you able to hear it in its entirety?
Yes, I was.
And as you were listening to this conversation, how were you doing that?
I was listening to the conversation in the earphone that was plugged into the microcassette.
And did you recognize the person to whom Cecilia Pierce was speaking with?
Yes, I did.
And who did you recognize that person to be?
I recognized the voice to be that of Pamela Smart.
And how did you recognize the voice of Pamela Smart?
I had talked to her on 7 different occasions before.
And after this phone conversation with Pamela Smart, what happened next?
As we were playing back the audio cassette from the first conversation, Captain Jackson didn't have the benefit of hearing it because he didn't have an earphone that went with it. He was listening to the first conversation. The telephone rang
Glad to have you in here.
at around 3:04.
And what did you do at that time?
We had a second machine that was set up with a blank tape in it. We switched the microphone with the suction cup from one machine and we plugged it into the second machine.
And when that person called at that time, who was it?
It was Pamela Smart calling back Cecilia Pierce.
And how long after this first phone call was it?
It was only 2 minutes or so.
So you took out the one cassette, or the one machine you were rewinding the micro cassette when the second phone call came in?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
I just want to make sure I understood your testimony. You were rewinding the first micro cassette, which had the first conversation when a phone call was received at the Pierce residence.
Yeah, we were either rewinding the first or playing it back. The first wasn't ready to record, the second one was.
Okay, now did you have any trouble with the equipment at any point?
Yeah, there was a hum in the telephone line, and
Of course
the
there
telephone
is.
wasn't.
This audio is
best
going to be
quality
trash.
either.
This
It
is
was
going
a
to be
little difficult
terrible.
to pick up.
We're not going to be able to hear
And
anything.
what did you do when you heard this hum? Did you try and improve the method at all?
Yeah, we swapped phones. We used an additional phone. Captain Jackson went out between 2 phone calls and got a telephone from the Seabrook Police Department, brought it back, and it didn't seem to help things too much. It did improve the quality somewhat.
And that was after the second phone call you did that?
Yes,
Were you able to make out and understand the conversation?
yes,
Okay, so the second call comes in, you plug in the second micro cassette. Is that correct?
that's right.
And do you hear this conversation
Yes, I do.
via the same method you heard the first one?
Yeah, that's correct.
And did you recognize the voice on the phone?
Yes.
Whose voice was it?
Again, it was Pamela Smart.
And how long did this conversation take?
This was a short 4 or 5 minute conversation.
What happened after that?
After that, the way the conversation was left is that after Cecilia Pierce had finished with this interview that she was supposed to do with the police, she was supposed to call Pamela Smart back at her home later on in the afternoon.
And was that part of the subject matter of the first 2 conversations, that there was a pending interview with the police?
That's right.
And how much time later was Cecilia Pierce supposed to call Pamela Smart?
She was supposed to call Pamela Smart when she arrived at home somewhere around 4 o'clock.
Did that phone call happen?
Yes, it did.
Can you tell us what time that was?
It was just before 4 o'clock. You have 3:55 in this note that I also wrote down the times on.
So this is about 50 minutes or so after the second phone call?
Right.
And who called who?
Cecilia Pierce contacted Pamela Smart at her home.
Now, during this period, did you have any further discussions with Cecilia Pierce about what to say or how to handle the phone call?
Yeah, we did the same thing that we had previously. We told her some things that she should say.
And how long did that third phone call take?
About 15 minutes or so.
And what microcassette was that third phone call put on?
After finishing the second phone call, we returned to the original microcassette recorder we had used in the original tape. So we put the second conversation, or the third conversation that we're talking about now, on the first tape. So the first and third conversations were on one tape, and the second was on a separate tape.
And how long did they talk for at that time?
Around 15 minutes.
And what did you do after this third conversation?
We picked up our equipment, and we transported the 2 tapes back to the Derry Police Department.
And did you have occasion to listen to those 2 tapes?
Yes.
Were they fair and accurate representation of the conversation you heard?
Yes, they were.
Is there any gaps or deletions on those tapes?
No, they were not.
I'd like to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 61 for ID and 62, and ask if you recognize those.
State's Exhibit 61 is what I labeled as tape number 1, and that would include the 2 outgoing calls that were made by Cecilia Pierce.
Now, how do you recognize it as that particular tape?
I put markings on it myself.
And what was State's Exhibit number 62?
62 is the microcassette that we used in the second machine. It includes the 1 incoming call from Pamela Smart to Cecilia Pierce.
And did you make similar markings on that
Yes.
cassette as well?
Yes, I did.
Now, did you ever take these microcassettes out of New Hampshire?
Yes, I did.
And when was that?
That was June 21st. I transported these 2 microcassettes from that conversation on the 19th to Essex, Connecticut.
And where were you going in Essex, Connecticut?
I was going to meet with Bob Halverson, who's an FBI audio enhancement expert, contracts with the FBI,
Now, why were you trying to get the tapes enhanced?
to get the best quality we could so that they were audible 100% or as close to 100% as possible.
And what happened at Bob Halverson's?
I met with Mr. Halverson. I gave him the 2 tapes, and I asked him if he could audio enhance them. He took the 2 tapes, and he hooked them up to his machinery, and he did 3 sets of 3 copies of audio enhancements.
Were you present during this process?
Yes.
And how long did the process take, if you recall?
I don't recall specifically. It took a couple of hours to get everything done.
And how many copies did he make?
Each of the 3 phone calls he made 3 copies of, so there were 9 tapes altogether.
And why were 3 copies made?
There were 3 separate sets, and they were all sealed. We specifically asked for 3 separate sets of each phone call because we wanted to preserve one for the trial. We wanted to have 2 working sets.
And after he enhanced these tapes, what did he do? He gave the copies to you?
He gave all of the sealed copies to me. He gave me the 2 originals that I gave him to him.
Did you have occasion to listen to his enhanced copies?
Yes, I did.
Are they fair and accurate representation of the conversation you heard?
They are.
Were there any deletions,
No,
additions,
no,
erasures,
none.
or changes of any nature except improving the audibility?
No, the audiobility was improved, and there were no other changes that I noticed, no.
I'd like to show you what's been marked for identification purposes as 64 for ID. Do you recognize that?
Yes, I do.
What do you recognize it to be?
This is one of the enhanced copies of the original phone call, the outgoing phone call from Cecilia Pierce to Pamela Smart.
How do you recognize it to be that?
The markings on it were made by Mr. Halverson. It says enhanced copy of Q1 Part 1. Q1 Part 1 is his marking for the first phone call.
I'd like to show you what's been marked 66 for identification purposes. Do you recognize that?
Yes, I do.
What do you recognize it to be?
This is an enhanced copy of the telephone conversation where Pamela Smart calls Cecilia Pierce back at her residence.
And what is State's Exhibit number 65 for identification purposes?
This was the third and final telephone call, an enhanced copy of Q1 Part 2, which is the telephone call made to Pamela Smart's residence by Cecilia Pierce.
Now, this is only one copy of the 3 copies that were made, correct?
That's right.
When was the last time you saw these copies?
The last time I saw him was when I brought him up here for a suppression hearing.
Your Honor, at this time, I'd like to move these tapes into evidence and mark them as full exhibits.
All right. I will inform counsel before we proceed that when that buzzer rings, it is not time to go to the toilet. It means the court is back in session. Ladies and gentlemen, you just heard, or you may have heard,
Judge is scary.
this witness say something about these
This is the first time I've heard the judge, like, maybe at all. I don't know. What the hell?
tapes at a prior hearing. As in any criminal trial, there are many prior hearings before trial. The subject of that hearing was, among other things, whether or not these tapes were sufficiently audible so that the jury, so that they would be of
These are going to be
aid
terrible,
jury.
guys. The audio is going
Those
to be
tapes have
trash.
been listened to by the court, and in fact, I ruled that one of these tapes at this prior hearing was not sufficiently audible. To that extent, you will not hear one of those three tapes, simply because you can't hear it well enough to be of any assistance to you. The other two tapes, the state's motion to admit the other two tapes as full exhibits is granted. The defense motion made at the bench conference is denied. Their exception, of course, is noted. Mr. Magyar, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
With respect to any other purpose of that prior hearing or any prior hearing, you want to completely disregard that, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, that's super
Just
early.
for the
Pass
record,
it,
that, Your
Paige.
Honor,
Welcome in.
The ruling, I believe, does not admit State's Exhibit number 62
How's Alaska?
into evidence because of its audibility, as well as State's Exhibit number 66, but would allow the admission of 64, 65, and 61 at this time.
Correct.
Could I approach again, Your Honor?
Yes, you may. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, so the record is clear, the motion, which I just said, made by the defense, which was denied, I said, a motion made at the bench.
Yo, Sarah, welcome in.
Was denied. That motion had nothing to do with the admissibility of these tapes. The motion was on another matter of law, which was denied. So the state has not objected to the admission of these tapes. The motion that I denied had nothing to do with any objection. The defense, I mean, has not objected to the admissibility of tapes, and the motion I denied had nothing to do with these tapes at all. And you would simply disregard the bench conference since it was purely a matter of law.
May I continue, Your Honor? Now, Detective, after June 19th, did you ever engage in a police, or were you ever with Cecilia Pierce again in a similar situation?
Yes, on July 12th.
Welcome in here, Queen
And
Sarah.
what was happening on July 12th?
On July 12th, myself and other members of the Derry Police Department went to the Seabrook Police Department and met Cecilia Pierce there. From there, she was outfitted with a body wire, and again, we did a one-party consent on a body wire this time.
Why did you decide to do a body wipe at this point?
The original conversation on the telephone, listening to it, it seemed as if Pamela Smart was apprehensive to talk to Cecilia when Cecilia began to talk about the specific things that showed Pamela may have some involvement in the murder.
So at this point, it was decided to try a face-to-face contact?
That's right.
Now, can you give the members of the jury some indication of what kind of equipment is used for the body wire?
In this case, it's a small box, about 2 by 3 inches. It's a transmitter, and it's housed inside a piece of cloth that's formed like a shoulder holster. And Cecilia Pierce wears it under her arm, and the microphone to it goes along a strap and is placed up by her shoulder, and the antenna from the unit also goes up along another strap so that it transmits over the air to a receiver, the receiver being housed inside a vehicle that's parked outside in the parking lot nearby, and the receiver has a tape recorder that's attached to it directly that records all of the conversation.
Now, Detective, where did this equipment come from?
We borrowed it from the Salem, New Hampshire Police Department.
And were you familiar with the operation of this equipment?
Yeah, we had used it before in other operations.
Now, prior to doing this operation on July 12, 1990, did you have any discussions with Cecilia Pierce concerning her willingness to help you in this matter?
Yes, again, she wanted to help us out. The conversation of if she wanted to do it and if she was willing to do it took place that day, took place before that, too.
Now, at the Seabrook Police Department, who outfitted Cecilia Pierce?
It was Sergeant Carlene Thompson of the Seabrook Police Department.
Now, after Cecilia Pierce was, the body wire was placed on her body, what happened next?
We had her in the detective's office, and myself and Sergeant Byron were going over things that again, that she should say the same basic things that she had said on the telephone, trying to keep it simple, her go in there and, again, another imminent interview where she'd have to talk to the police and possibly take a lie detector test.
Now, was anything written down at this juncture?
No, nothing was written down.
And what time of day was this about?
It was around noontime or so that we were at the Seabrook Police Station.
What happened next?
From there, we followed her to her car, and 2 surveillance vehicles went over to the Winnicott High School SAU 21 parking lot.
Now, when you say surveillance vehicle, what do you mean?
Again, another undercover vehicle, not an LTD, one that's not easily recognizable as a police car, and also a surveillance van where the operator of the equipment can stay inside and then be undetected.
When you say an LTD, you mean that's the type of car that is normally used by Gary Police Department?
Right.
Now, who was in which car?
Myself and Sergeant Byron were in the undercover car. Detective Michael Raymond and Detective Barry Charowitz were in the surveillance van.
And who was operating the equipment in the surveillance van?
Michael Raymond.
And where did these cars park at SAU 21?
The surveillance van parked direct.
I was doing a little bit of Googling here, Wendy, and it says, no, the complete unedited full transcripts are not publicly available to read as a single document online, but you can read the key verbatim excerpts that were introduced during the trial. So yeah, I was trying to see if I could find them.
In front of SAU 21 in the parking lot by the front door. The surveillance car that I was in with Sergeant Byron was parked off to the parallel to the building, off to the side more, behind some other cars.
And how did Cecilia Pierce get there?
She drove her own car.
And was there anyone with her?
Yes, on the way over, I was in her car.
Actually, this is pretty interesting. Like, part of the argument here, it says the full official transcript is not easily accessible because the accuracy of these very documents is the central focus of Smart's ongoing legal appeals. Because she's trying to get out of jail now. When I started this trial, her defense team argues that the original text, which was typed by a secretary rather than a certified stenographer, contains significant errors. They contend that the prosecutor provided version combined with poor audio quality, again, led to an expectation bias, influencing the jury to hear incriminating phrases that were not actually audible on the original tape. Whoa. If you would, yeah, that's pretty interesting.
Along with her cousin, who was visiting from out of state. She stopped on the way over at a small condo complex before the Winnicott High School, dropped me off, Sergeant Byron picked me up, and then we continued following her into the parking lot.
Now, as you got to the parking lot, what happened?
When we got to the parking lot, we got into position, and she parked her car, and from where we were, she stayed in her car for a while. From there, one of the secretaries showed up and said Pamela wasn't there yet. Pamela had gone to lunch.
And how long was there a wait before the defendant showed up?
It wasn't that long of a wait.
And once the defendant showed up, what happened?
On the 12th,
The Farlow?
she went inside. I may have been mistaking the 13th with the 12th now.
All right, now, let's back up. And when you say Cecilia Pierce was in a car waiting, did that take place on the 12th or the 13th?
On the 12th, Cecilia Pierce went inside the building because her cousin waited out inside the car.
Okay.
So Pamela Smart had already been at the office on the 12th.
Now, was there any requirement or necessity by Cecilia Pierce to turn on this equipment?
No, we turned it on and we taped the button in the on position so it wouldn't accidentally get shut off.
So there's nothing she had to do but talk.
That's right.
Now, did you see Cecilia Pierce walk into that building?
From where I was, I saw her get out of the car. I couldn't see her walking into the building, though. I saw her walk along the side and out to the back.
At some point, did you hear her engage in a conversation with the defendant?
Yeah, she entered the building and she talked to a secretary, and then we heard her talking to Pamela Smart.
And did you recognize Pamela Smart's voice?
Yes.
Now, how was it that you were able to hear Pamela Smart and Cecilia Pierce's conversation when you were in an unmarked car?
Inside the unmarked car, we had a regular police scanner that had the frequency of the body wire, which is a low wattage transmitter. It transmits over the air, and we picked it up on the scanner itself.
Now,
I'm just reading this from the from some of these quotes here that I guess you hopefully we'll be able to make out. If we ever get to hear these tapes, we were listening last week and we never got to hear these tapes. But the risk of confession in another recorded remark, Smart says, "If you tell the truth, we're all fucking going to jail," underlining the high stakes of the conspiracy. And then another time she even said, "I'm afraid one day you're going to come in here and you're going to be wired by the fucking police." And who is this with? This is with, what did they say? Cecilia Pierce, an intern. Conversations with her intern, Cecilia Pierce.
were you doing anything to record this conversation on the 12th?
Yes, I had a microcassette recorder, and I was holding the microphone of the microcassette recorder up to the speaker of the scanner to record the conversation.
So essentially, you just held the monitor on the microcassette recorder up to the speaker of the scanner.
That's right.
And Detective Raymond had an actual lead into a regular cassette. Is that correct?
That's correct, yes.
Now, how long did the defendant and Cecilia Pierce speak for at that time?
It was somewhere around 25 minutes or so.
And did you hear the entire conversation?
Yes.
What happened after that?
After we finished, Cecilia Pierce went back to her car, and she went back to the Seabrook Police Department. Both the surveillance vehicles followed her back. We met her back at the Seabrook Police Department and recovered our body wire equipment.
Did you have occasion at that time to, or after that time, to listen to the cassette that was recorded in the surveillance van?
Yes.
And that was a cassette you received from who?
Michael Raymond.
And did you have occasion to listen to the microcassette that you had placed in your microcassette recorder up to the scanner?
Yes.
Were they fair and accurate recordings of the conversations you heard on July 12, 1990?
Yes, they were.
Now I'd like to show you what's been marked for identification as State's Exhibit number 68 and ask if you recognize that. How do you recognize it?
68 is the microcassette recording of the conversation of July 12th. This is the microcassette that I recorded myself.
Bear with me 1 second. Judge, I can try and continue without it, and we'll search for it at an appropriate break, or take a break and look for it now. What would you prefer to do?
Continue.
Okay. All right, Detective. So, showing you what State 68 for identification purposes is a copy of the microcassette you had recorded at that time.
That's right.
All right. And you also received a standard cassette size, similar to what I'm holding in my hands right now, which is State's Exhibit 69. Is that correct?
Yes, we did. I did.
I just found what we were looking for, Judge. Showing you what State's Exhibit number 69. You recognize that?
This is the one. This is July 12th, the standard cassette that was recorded by Michael Raymond.
How is it that you recognize it?
My handwriting is on it, and Bob Halverson's markings are on it also, and the case number is on it.
Okay, now detective, what is your handwriting that you placed down here? What does your handwriting say?
It says wiretap Pamela Smart, original master, 71290.
And what is the number in the upper left-hand corner, 0190001?
That's our case number.
And is that the number you placed on all the tapes that you got in this case?
Yes, it is.
Now, did you have occasion to listen to both these tapes?
Yes, I did.
Same conversation on each tape?
It is.
Now, after July 12, 1990, did you engage in any other wiretaps with Cecilia Pierce?
Yes, the following day on July 13th.
Now, why did you engage in it again on July 13th?
To get additional incriminating evidence.
Now, the conversation that was in the building on July 12th, is there any particular interference on that day?
There's none that I can recall.
Now, on July 13th, how was the setup arranged?
On July 13th, we again met Cecilia Pierce at the Seabrook Police Department. She was outfitted with the body wire, and again, we followed her to the parking lot of Winnicott High School, SAU 21.
And same equipment that you had used on July 12th?
Yes.
And what car were you in?
At this time, I was in
Happy anniversary. Happy anniversary.
another, it was a rental car, other than one of our police cars, and two other officers were in the surveillance van.
And who were the other officers in the surveillance van?
Captain Jackson and Detective Michael Surratt were in the surveillance van, and myself and Detective Barry Charowitz were in the rented car.
And where were you parked at SAU 21 on this day?
Again, the surveillance van is parked right in front of the front door of SAU 21 in the parking lot, and myself and Detective Charowitz were parked more closer to the Winnicott High School itself in the parking lot.
And where was Cecilia Pierce?
Cecilia Pierce was in her own car, and her car was parked on the side of SAU 21.
And at the time, prior to doing this, did you have again discussions with Cecilia Pierce about her willingness to cooperate in this manner?
Yes, I did.
And did you have any further discussions of what to say?
We pretty much told her to say the same thing. The additional thing we wanted was a prior attempt, information on a prior attempt.
Again, this is information that had been provided to you by Cecilia Pierce.
That's right.
For this. So what happened on the 13th?
Cecilia Pierce was waiting in her car. This is the date that Pamela Smart hadn't returned from lunch yet. Her secretary came and said that Pamela hadn't returned from lunch yet, and then shortly after that, she did return from lunch and approached Cecilia Pierce.
And did you see the defendant approach Cecilia Pierce?
I saw her car pull into the parking lot, recognized her in the car, and then I couldn't see her parking next to her after that, from where I was.
I'm sorry?
From where I was, I couldn't see that.
And how long after that did Cecilia Pierce and the defendant engage in conversation?
Less than a minute.
And did you hear the conversation between Cecilia Pierce and the defendant at that time?
Yes, I did.
And how were you able to hear it?
We had the same setup as July 12th. I had a scanner, and it was plugged into the car, and I could hear the transmitter on the scanner on the radio frequency.
Now, could anybody with a ham radio within any close distance to the transmitter that Cecilia Pierce was wearing have picked up this conversation?
If they knew the transmitting frequency of the body wire, yes.
So you were listening to it on the scanner. Did you attempt to record it in any fashion?
Yes, I did.
And besides, in what fashion did you use to record it?
Again, as I did on July 12th, I had the micro cassette recorder with a blank tape, and I was recording from the speaker of the scanner into the microphone of the micro cassette recorder.
And besides what you were doing, was there a similar attempt to record the conversations in the surveillance van as there was on July 12th, 1990?
Yes, the original body wire equipment, which consisted of the receiver and the recorder, was again in the surveillance van, being operated by Captain Jackson and Detective Surratt.
How long did the defendant and Cecilia Pierce speak at that time?
This was approximately 30 minutes or so also.
And were you able to hear the conversation over your scanner?
Yes.
Were you able to hear the entire conversation?
Yes.
And was there any part of the conversation that you lost or were unable to hear?
There were portions that it was difficult to hear because there was machinery that was working in the parking lot, a big payload or a tractor, but I heard the conversation.
And were you able to recognize the defendant's voice at that time?
Yes.
Now, after Cecilia Pierce had completed her conversation with the defendant, what happened next?
She left the parking lot, and again, we followed her back to the Seabrook Police Department where we recovered the equipment from her.
And did you have an opportunity to listen to the microcassette which you had used to record the conversation of Cecilia Pierce over the scanner?
Yes.
And was it a fair and accurate recording of the conversation that you heard?
Yes, it is.
Did you receive the standard cassette from Michael Surratt?
Yes, I did.
Did you have occasion to listen to the standard cassette?
Yes.
And what was on that cassette?
The standard cassette didn't end up recording the conversation. There was a malfunction in the equipment, and the conversation was not recorded on that standard cassette.
Now, were you able to determine why there was a malfunction of the equipment on July 13th, 1990, which was going to be used to record the standard cassette?
No, I never looked at the equipment to figure out why it happened.
All right, so I'd like to show you what State's Exhibit number 73. What is that?
This is the standard cassette that has the incomplete copy of the conversation.
Did anything end up on the standard cassette?
No, the only thing on the standard cassette is the introduction that we do with the date and the time and what's going on.
Then I'd like to show you what State's Exhibit number 71 and ask if you recognize that.
Yeah, this is the microcassette recording that I did on July 13th of the conversation.
And how do you recognize that?
Again, my initials are on this and the date and the case number. It says wiretap 71390.
I'm sorry, 1990?
Right.
Okay, now, was there ever a time when you took the tapes from July 12th and the tape from July 13th out of New Hampshire?
Yes.
And where did you take them to?
I took the tapes to, again, Essex, Connecticut, with Bob Halverson.
And this is the same gentleman you spoke about before, is that correct?
That's right.
And what date did you do that?
Around January 10th.
And what happened in Essex, Connecticut?
I gave the tapes to Mr. Halverson, and Mr. Halverson, again, did an audio enhancement of the tapes.
And were you present during the enhancement of those tapes?
Yes, I was.
And on July 12th, which tape did he use to enhance, do you know?
On July 12th, he used the standard cassette.
So the microcassette wasn't used by him to enhance the conversation, is that correct?
That's right.
Now, how long did the process take?
Again, it was somewhere around 2 hours or so. to do
You were
the tapes.
present during the entire time?
Yes.
By the way, going July 13th, 1990, how was it if you were in a car, the defendant wasn't able to see you?
We were parked further back in the parking lot on July 13th, hidden behind other parked cars.
And that was a substantial distance away?
Right.
And the surveillance van was where?
Right in front of SAU 21.
And is there any way to see into the surveillance van?
No.
So, besides the standard cassette, which was enhanced by Robert Halverson, what else was done by him at that time?
He also enhanced the microcassette from July 13th.
And how many copies did he make of each of those tapes?
He made 3 copies of each tape for a total of 6 enhanced copies.
Were you present during the enhancement process?
Yes.
Did you have a chance to listen to those enhanced copies?
Yes, I did.
And were they fair and accurate representations of the conversations you heard on July 12th and July 13th?
They were.
I'd like to show you what State's Exhibit 76 and 75, and ask if you recognize these. '76 is an enhanced copy, Q29.
of the conversation of July 13th.
And what is State's Exhibit 75?
75 is an enhanced copy of the conversation of July 12th.
Now, these are one of 3 copies,
That's right.
and these are the 3 working copies you made, is that correct?
This set here is a set that remained sealed. We had 2 other sets that were working copies.
And these are the same set you brought to this court at a previous time, correct?
Right.
Now, Your Honor, I'd like to move this into evidence as full exhibits, the enhanced copies as well as the 2 originals. On July 12th and July 13th, did the defendant make any reference to her prior phone conversations with Cecilia Pierce?
Yes, she did.
And what were those references?
She said she was afraid her phone was tapped, and she said that one of the things that Cecilia Pierce had mentioned before made her upset.
And what was it that Cecilia Pierce had mentioned that made her upset?
I don't recall a specific line that she had used when she said that it made her upset.
This time, Your Honor, with the court's permission, I would like to play the enhanced copy of the first conversation of June 19th.
All right.
Yes. We all set?
Finally. Let's go. Let's see how bad this is.
Today's date is July 13th, 1990. This is a conversation recorded between Cecilia Pierce and Pamela Smart at the Winnicott High School in Hampton, New Hampshire. This conversation that's being recorded was with the consent of Senior Assistant Attorney General Bill Lyons. 12:50 hours, arriving at the parking lot, Winnicott. Cecilia's waiting in the car. 12:59 hours, Cecilia goes into the building, SAU 21, speaks with a woman inside, is advised that Pamela was in, went out for lunch, and hasn't returned yet. 1:03, Cecilia comes out of the building and returns to her vehicle to wait. 1:04.
Hi, where's Pam? She is? Yeah, we didn't get out till a late lunch. So. Oh, you did? What time will she be back? Alright. Pretty good. Sorry, come and visit her. See what she's up to, so. They canceled it. Well, I have the keys in the car. I'm just going to sit and wait for out here. She doesn't hurry up and come on when I get going. Because my mother doesn't let me keep the car for too long. So you're driving? You get your license? Good. Finally? Yeah. You working a lot? When I get back. Are you working a lot? Not really. No. I went on Sunday and they sent me home. They said I had the chicken pox. And then Sunday night I went in there to eat. And they kicked me out because I had the chicken pox. Did you have them? I don't think I have them. I got something all over me though. I have to go to the doctor. Yeah, you should. It's probably just like frozen sumac. I don't know what it is. Huh. But it is. No. Yeah. Thank you. To Michael. Oh. You're going out with Michael? No. No. I haven't went out with Michael. We're just friends. Oh. You don't want to come in? Yeah, obviously. I was in there for a few minutes, so. Oh, yeah. It's too bad, because we both said we'd get back around 1 o'clock, and I'm 10 minutes late already, so. You beat her? Yep.
That was Pamela's secretary arriving back from lunch. return to her vehicle at 106. I'll stop the tape at this point. 109. Target vehicle pulls into lot.
What for? I figured out I should call her because I think your mother's not. Her mother answered. Did you go yet? I didn't go. Because Todd called me and he wants me to meet with him at 3:30, and I'm not going to the Attorney General today. Do you know why? Because I talked to my lawyer and I told him I have to meet with him. Yeah. And it's because they're doing investigation. They're calling like everybody now. They have to go to like the grand jury to hear the evidence. They're going to end up subpoenaing me. I know they are. They are. They're going to subpoena that truth. Any sign I have, not to they're going to do going. Yes? Yeah, like everybody's going at different times. Like everybody goes in and do it. Like all films, NJRs, teachers have to go every teacher.
Tiff, welcome in.
It would subpoena me, but I'm not going. So it's just a conflict of interest because it's my husband. Well, but they would subpoena me for like Miss Kinsman, Miss Kite, everybody. I hate this. What happens if I lie on the stand and they find out? How would you find out? Later on. How would you if somebody says that I did know, I don't know how who would know that. Does they know what I knew? Even if he did know that, it would just be kind of fun. Well, Frank, JR, and everyone says that I know about it. So what's the next thing about you right now? I don't know. Why do they keep on questioning me? Because they question me. They tracy everyone. So, yeah, it's not just you. It's everyone. Even they come to the floor. It's more like that. What the hell? I said something about you. Well, tell her she's not the only one who can question. It's everyone. For you, probably see people wanting to bring you down there. Just coming to see you or you're going to see him. I'm supposed to go there. My mother's going to bring me. She's going to work at 2. Where are you going, seriously? Yeah. But what I was saying is obviously I knew about it beforehand, and if I get up there and lie and then they find out about it after, I'm going to get in trouble. Well, if you knew about it beforehand, and you say you knew about it beforehand. Well, I did know about it beforehand. Yeah, but if you say that, you're going to get in trouble anyway. Right. So you're better off to just lie and then forget if there's no way. They wouldn't, in order to arrest you and convict you for accessory to murder, that which means you knew before it happened, they would need to have evidence that you knew. Somebody saying something is just hearsay. Like these guys are never going to get convicted for murder unless they have fingerprints and hair and shit and everything. You know what I mean? Like they're never just going to get convicted because Ralph said. They're not, And right now the state could give 2 flying shits about anything regarding anybody else except for they're going to, if they truly have a letter from Sarah, right, they're going to want to know, they're going to want to prove in court that I was having an affair with Bill. But I told you, even if I got arrested tomorrow and they said, here's a letter from Sarah, and it's saying, I love you, Bill, be mine forever, or whatever, I don't know, I can't even remember, then it is, I'm going to have to say, okay, yeah, I was. But I'm not going to say, I'll just say nobody knew about it besides me and Bill, whoever Bill might have told. What did they do with the stuff they stole? I don't know. Did they really steal stuff? Yeah. They did? Yeah, things were stolen from my house. But I don't know, I would assume it was stolen from out. Anyway, but I don't know. I should hope so. Hope it isn't laying in Bill's bedroom or something. I don't know, I doubt it. I highly doubt it, but I don't know. It's pretty stupid. Right, well, you forgot the directions to your house that night. If they have stolen things from my house and Bill's house, then it's stolen from it. There's nothing I can do about it. I doubt that they would have that. Because that would just be on this side. But the worst thing I'm worried about is, and first of all, another reason you're getting questioned is because you're the one who spent the whole week with me. But unfortunately, it happened the week after that. If that wouldn't have happened, they wouldn't even really be caring about you. But you're like the last person who was with me, like, in the week. You know what? share that time that you let Bill use the cottage up there? Where? Up to your house. Well, that time, if he hadn't have forgot the directions, he could have killed Greg then, and then I wouldn't even have spent the next week with you. I know, but and if I had it... The only thing is that, oh yeah, and remember, I don't know if my phone was that tapped, but if it was, at the time when I was talking to you on the phone, you said to me, you should have just got divorced, or something like that, and hopefully my phone wasn't tapped when you said that, because I took a shit when you said that, but if my phone is tapped and anybody had asked me about that, I'll just say that you meant like, why, if you couldn't understand why I would have killed Greg, because I would have just got divorced, you know, like, if I wanted Greg dead, I should have just got divorced, you know. And so why would I have killed him? I would have just gotten divorced. You know, because I hope my phone's not tapped, because I'm like, I'm like, but that's the thing. I don't know about this letter from Sarah. I wish, like, someone fucking saw Sarah on the street instead of she turned in a letter or not. You know, a note. Because if they don't have that, they don't have shit proving that. I don't know about Sarah, because Sarah's happy-go-lucky. I've only seen her once, but she beat the way. But that would mean that Sarah would have had to hold that note all the way from the winter until May, until June. Why would she have done that? I don't know. I just threw out my notes from 2 years ago. When she borrowed Bill's jacket, wouldn't she have just put the note back in the jacket after she read it? It doesn't make any sense. She would have put it in her pocket, took it home. Okay. Probably. She probably did, but hopefully he didn't bring it home, set it on the counter or something. No. Like, they told the story they told you, they told me. They said Sarah gave him a note. But that has nothing to do with you, you know what I mean? Or you should just be like, well, ask Sarah. You know, that's the thing. I mean, friggin', that's what I keep saying. Everyone asks me, like, the reporters, well, so Ralph said this. I'm like, well, fucking ask Ralph, I guess. You know, don't ask me, ask Ralph. I don't know. You know, I don't know what to tell you, baby. Just ask fucking Ralph. But, you know, they might tell you things today, like, well, we talked to Bill, and Bill said, okay, that's bullshit. Because those kids have not talked to a fucking soul since they've been arrested besides their lawyers. You know, and that's it. And even if they say, well, Pete said that Bill told him that you knew, then all you have to say is, well, Bill told Pete the wrong thing, and if Bill's a murderer, he's obviously a liar. So, you know, what the hell? That's just it. I mean, they're not going to believe Bill and Pete on the witness stand against you. I mean, come on, they're on trial for murder, you know? I mean, they're not going to be believing you and them. All they want to know is there anybody else that knew about this before it happened? Because if there is, then they can really bag them, you know? But that's the thing. So I don't know, you know, I mean, I wish this wasn't the circumstances. You know, I hate the fact that you have to be interested. I hate the fact that you're scared. I hate the fact that you're probably going to have to take a lie detector test. But I don't know what to tell you. If I thought if you told the truth it was going to do you any good, that'd be one thing. But it's not. If you tell the truth, you cannot change what you know. You know, you can't. And if you tell the fucking truth, you are probably going to be arrested. And even if you're not arrested, you're going to have to go and you're going to have to send Bill. You're going to have to send Pete. You're going to have to send JR. And you're going to have to send me to the fucking slammer for the rest of our entire life. And unfortunately, that's the situation you're in. And not only that, but your parents are going to be like, fucking Cecilia, you know, what the hell? I mean, I think your parents will get over the fact that you decided you didn't want to take a lie detector test faster than they're going to get over the fact that for the next 2 years you're going to be going to trial for sending everybody up. You know, just slammer for the, you know, I'm just saying. I know, tell me about it. What the hell are they doing? That's the thing. You're going to, I mean, I don't know. But all I have to say is I feel like totally feeling you because I'm afraid one day you're going to come in here and you're going to be wired by the fucking police and I'm going to be busted.
There it was. I'm afraid you're going to come in here one day and you're going to be fucking wired.
All I have to say is if you didn't want this knock off. I know. Give me some signal that if you have ever come down to me and you're wired that you're going to give me. I'll just wait. All right. You know, go like this or I have said I felt like lunch.
She's asking her to give her a signal if she's wired. Yeah, okay.
What if I want to? I was like, great. If Raymond had run his friggin' mouth off, this would have been the perfect lineup because they set everything up. It looked like a burglar, just like you said. No shit. So it's not my fault. I know. Raymond, if he had not run his mouth off, everything was set up perfect. No shit. But the thing is that
Smart sounds like a fucking cunt. She sounds like a bitch.
I have to realize that no matter what, Bill's not going to drag you into it. You know that, because that's just going to make it even worse for him. Right. And what good is it going to do to drug to Pete and JR to drag you into it? Nothing. It's nothing, you know. Plus, Pete and JR never talked to you about the murder, right? They never said, oh, Cecilia, you know, right? So as far as they know, if Bill told them you know, that doesn't really mean you knew. You know, that's the thing. So no one's ever, don't worry about them fucking, don't worry about anybody. Pretend like no one is ever going to say you're lying 20 years or 2 days down the road. Because no one is ever going to catch you in a lie, because it's impossible to catch you in a lie. Because the people who are going to try and catch you in a lie, if anyone, is going to be Pete and JR, and it's just going to be their word, their convicted criminal arrested for murder word against yours, you know? Yeah. I mean, and any fucking jury in the world is going to do that. They can't even arrest you on stupid criminal words. Yeah. I mean, they know they're going to say anything they have to get you know, off. And that's the whole thing. So you're supposed to go there and just fucking keep the same goddamn fucking story. You know, and don't change it, and that's it. And the only thing is, I don't know what they're going to ask you. Like, I would totally shit if they said to you, well, Bob Smith, who lives next door to Pam, she saw Bill walking into the house that was the murder. I'd be like, that's the thing. I don't know what the hell's going on. All I know is that pretty soon JR is probably going to roll. He was supposed to be only in the car. I don't know. I have no idea. And pretty soon he's going to be like, fuck Pete and Bill. I'm not going to jail for the rest of my goddamn fucking life. So he's going to turn against them. And he's going to blame me. Right? I know he is. And so that's when I'm going to be in trouble. That's when I'm going to get arrested. But I could probably get out of it because they're not going to have any proof, you know? But that's when I'm going to be arrested because JR. But see, I never said the words, I never said any words like, JR, I will take you to kill Greg. I never said anything. JR never talked to me about the murder or anything, you know? So as far as, you know, Bill could have told them all. I paid them. I don't know what Bill told them to get them to go. And then that was just a lie, you know? But that's a lie. They're not going to have any, there's no money missing, you know? There's no, you know what I'm saying? So, like, that's not true. So they can't convict me because this fucking JR 16-year-old word in the slammer facing the rest of his life. Well, first of all, you didn't offer to pay him, right? No. So he's not going to say that you offered to happen, which is the truth. Right. Well, so then I'll have to say, no, I didn't. And they're either going to believe me or they're going to believe JR 16 years old in the slammer. And then who me, who's a professional reputation, not worse than a speeding ticket. You know, and that's the thing. All right. They're going to believe me. All right, well, I'll call you. I'm winning your office in Wayne Place. Do you want to come over later? Later? No one's home. All right, well, I'll call you if I get the car. Well, I don't have a phone. You don't have a phone at your house? I never. And, we'll just let you know. Just come over. I'm going to be home all night. Right, well, I'll have the car anyway. Right, and if you come over, pick me up and we'll go somewhere. All right. Yeah, no kidding. All right, what time do you think it'll be? Like 5?
Yo, Leia, get in here.
I have to get there at 3:30. Takes 45 minutes to get back. I would say I'm not going to stay more than an hour. All I know is that I better see you again. Or next time I see Billy sitting there. But it's for me to see you sitting. Well, you better be there on back with my Lambo, right? Bye. That's the least. You better shut up before I run you over. You better shut up before I run you over. No.
13:23 hours. Pamela Smart returns to her office. CI is leaving the parking lot.
Take a short recess.
All rise.
Everything there.
They need a small recess. You can hear a few things coming through that were definitely incriminating and stupid to say.
The kind of time when you arrested Pamela Smart,
Yes.
can you tell us what day that was?
August 1st, 1990.
Now, after the arrest of Pamela Smart, did you engage in further investigations in this case?
Yes.
Did there come a time when you interviewed a one George Moses?
Yes.
Can you tell us the date of that interview?
That was November 1st, 1990.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Detective.
Yeah.
First thing I want to ask you, you recall you're still on the road.
Yes, sir.
When that tape was missing, did you think Sister Rice saw it?
No, sir.
You think Mr. Allison walked out with it?
No, he didn't. No, I didn't.
I want to take you back a long way. But before I do that, let me just follow up on what my just asked you. How was it just dropped back there?
Good.
Okay. The arrest was on August 2nd. What was the date of that last tape? We just heard.
July 13th.
I said August 2nd, I meant to say August 1st.
Right.
The arrest is when?
The arrest is August 1st.
Okay. Was there another taping that went on after the one we just heard, or another wiring episode?
There was one additional taping on August 1st.
Okay, so you sent Cecilia here, saw it again on August 1st.
That was a telephone recording.
Let me take you back. Let's go back to May. Are you the chief investigator right from the beginning, or did you have a different role?
Right back. Use the bathroom.
After the crime scene was done and in the days following, I was assigned as the lead.
A lot of these evidence pieces have tags on them. Let's look at this particular one. Do you know who took this into custody and when it was taken into custody?
Yes, I did.
When was it taken in?
It was mid-May. I don't know the exact date.
Okay, mid-May. Now this, why don't you describe for the record to the jury what this is? It showed it.
That's the candlestick that was left in the interior of the Smart residence. The one, it was slightly damaged, so we believe that was the one that was located by Gregory Smart's foot in some of the crime scene photos.
Now this candlestick was located right by his foot, under his foot, but right by the body, correct?
Right.
And it was seen and photographed by the police that evening, correct?
Yes.
This is May 1st, right?
Yes.
And you just told me that it was placed in evidence sometime around mid-May,
Right.
right? Could you tell the jury how it happened that in mid-May you got the candlestick?
Yes. During one of the interviews I did with Pamela Smart, I went over to her residence to talk to her, and she pointed out this candlestick that was left behind by the police that processed the crime scene of her condo. She said she thought it might be important because it was damaged. It hadn't been damaged before, and she thought maybe that was used in the homicide.
Okay. You called this slightly damaged a moment ago. Would you agree with me that the base of, first of all, would you hold this and tell me if this is a sturdy, hard object?
Yes, it is.
Okay. You wouldn't want to be hit with that.
No, I wouldn't.
The base is really very loose at the bottom, correct?
That's right.
I mean, you would not use this to hold a candle up. You'd be afraid of it tipping and starting a fire.
You're probably right, I wouldn't.
Okay. Now, that wasn't the only time. Well, before we go on that, don't you really think that should have been taken into evidence that night?
I didn't do the crime scene, I did
I'm
the...
not blaming you or anybody, but if you could go back and look on it, don't you really think that should have come into evidence?
Possibly.
Was that the only time that Pamela Smart, or the only thing that she told you to try to help you find that evidence? Did she tell you about some other things at the scene?
Yes, she did.
Do you recall that in that entryway, as you come in the entryway, if I remember right, there's the tile for a number of feet, and then by the tile end you go upstairs and a rug starts? Is that the way it is?
The stairway's off to the left and it's
Right.
carpeted, and the tile reaches another carpeted portion where the dining room is.
Okay. If you could think about the area as you come in the door, before you turn to go to the stairs, the wall right there, right at that corner. Remember Pamela Smart pointing something out to you?
Yes.
Could you tell the jury what that is?
She told me that there was some plaster chipped off the wall that she didn't notice chipped off there previously.
Okay, and that was, if you recall, a chip, maybe, not a chip, an indentation, I guess is what I want to say, an indentation, almost like a crescent-shaped indentation, about an inch or two long.
I don't recall the shape of it at this point.
Did anybody ever take this to see if someone had swung at Greg Smart with this and hit that wall, if this would have fit in that indentation?
Not to my knowledge.
You know that at the state forensic labs, they have people who do, I think it's called tool mark identification. Do those words mean anything to you?
Yeah, I'm aware of it, yes.
Okay, that's like if you pry something open or use any kind of object on another object, it leaves marks, and there are people that can tell you whether it's consistent with, say, that hitting the wall.
Yes.
That was not done.
No.
Would you agree with me if in fact somebody took that candlestick and hit that wall, that would be inconsistent with everything you were told by Mr. Randall, Mr. Latomy, and Mr. Flynn about what happened to him?
Yes.
How many times did you meet with Pamela Smart?
7 or 8 times.
At any point in time, in the month of May, did she come to you and say, I don't want to talk to you anymore?
No, she did not.
Was she consistently bringing up things like the two we just talked about?
Yes.
Did she or her mother also tell you about a towel with blood that was found on the cellar stairs?
I don't recall the specifics of that. I remember a towel being mentioned at one point. Both of them were present for that conversation.
When you talked to her, and I think you said it was 2:30 in the morning when you had more of an extended talk?
That's right.
Okay. She told you that she'd been at a school board meeting that night, correct?
Yes.
And she told you that that's something she doesn't ordinarily do.
That's right.
She didn't try to say, like, I always go to the school board meetings or anything like that.
No, she said that was something out of the ordinary.
Now, the thing about Cecilia Pierce, how did it come about that you got Cecilia Pierce's name, Pamela Smart? Were you asking her questions about Cecilia Pierce?
No, I was asking her questions about friends that weren't friends of both her and her husband, that were friends exclusively of hers.
You didn't say, is Cecilia Pierce one of your friends? I mean, you didn't bring up the name Cecilia Pierce, did you?
No, she did.
Right. She volunteered the name Cecilia Pierce for you, correct?
Yes.
And at the same time, when she volunteered that, she also volunteered the fact that she was active in a youth group at the school.
That's right.
I think he's called it an at-risk program or something like that, that had to do with alcohol and drugs and kids.
Correct.
And again, that's something she volunteered. She directed your attention to the fact that that program existed.
She did, yes.
Did you ask her if Greg had insurance?
Yes.
Did she tell you, or what did she tell you?
She told me he had insurance, but she didn't know the amount of the policy.
Now that's a little bit inconsistent with something at least one of the boys told you, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, one of the boys told you that they knew before May 1st that there was $140,000 worth of insurance.
Yes.
And I think that was Mr. Latomy who said that.
I don't recall which one said that.
Did you ever try to determine whether or not Pamela Smart could have known the total amount of insurance?
No. No.
Did you? Okay, let me be a little more specific. You had a puzzle blow. Did you yourself ever go to somebody from the insurance company and say, were these specific amounts on these policies, and who would have been able to know the amount?
I didn't handle that part of it,
Okay.
the investigation.
Let me ask you a question as a lead investigator. Suppose you did do that and were told that one of the policies has a base amount, but the other policy is an indeterminate thing that there's a fairly complicated formula to get to. It would be very difficult, if not impossible, for a person to know the amount.
Yeah,
Right.
I wouldn't be able to. I'd be sweating. I'd be
If you
stuttering.
had
I'd be
that information,
freaking out.
let's forget everything else about the case, okay? And Mr. Latomy says to you, somebody told me the amount of the two policies together, okay? Wouldn't you question what Mr. Latomy said?
Objection is the form of the question, Judge. as to relevancy, and it sounds more like an argument than a question to me.
Want to respond to that?
I'm not quite correct, I don't understand the objection. Form is...
Well, I think you might solve it if you rephrase the question.
Okay, let me just see, it was a long question, let me see if you, I'm not sure I can say it. So, let me see if you follow me, okay? I want you to assume just two facts, okay, for the moment. One is that Vance Latimer tells you before May 1st that he has been told by someone the total amount of these two policies, okay?
Right.
All right, total amount of insurance. That's fact number one. And assume fact number two, that an insurance expert from the company told you that one of those policies, it would be very difficult, perhaps someone couldn't do it, just very hard to know the amount of one of those policies, because it's not for a certain amount, you have to go through a formula. Now, are you with me on the two facts?
Sure.
Would you agree with me that the second fact would make you question the first fact?
Assuming those two facts were true, yes, it would.
Did you take these kids to ADC? Were you on that ride?
On one of the rides, yes.
The ride when the young men were brought up from court to the detention center.
Yeah, I transported them on a couple of occasions.
Okay. I mean, it's the first time after they were arrested, if you recall.
I believe so. I can't be positive right now.
Well, let me, on any of the times, do you remember the kids laughing and joking on the way to ADC?
Objection, Your Honor, is the question of any of the time. What's the relevance? I mean, we have to have a point in time if it's going to mean anything to the jury. They've been in ADC 6 months.
Well, I think in view of the detective's answer that concerning the number of times that you took them there, I think he has recall, he should certainly answer the question.
Did you remember the question?
Yeah, there was an occasion when they were joking about it, yes.
Now, these boys testified, and each one of them said that there's some exhibits here that have their deals, quote unquote, okay? Have you seen those documents for each of the boys?
I haven't read through them. I know that they exist, and I know that we have them.
Let's talk about Mr. Randall. Was
Hey,
there...
Punk, thanks for that share on X. I just saw that.
Was there an understanding between you and the Attorney General's Office of State and Pete Randall's attorney about whether or not his mother would be charged?
An understanding as to whether she would be charged?
Yeah, providing the stuff in the wall.
I don't know if there was an understanding that she wouldn't be charged. When I went there, I told her that I wanted a written statement, and she wrote up the statement.
And on that statement, at the top of it, sort of like a warning form, I say that there have been no promises that have been made to me, no threats, etc. Correct?
Right.
Okay, do you remember what Mrs. Randall did before she wrote out her statement?
No, I don't recall.
Did she cross out the word promises?
Judge, I object to this question. Relevancy, it's asking for hearsay. Mrs. Randall's available if they want to call you.
Your Honor, this man's a witness on the statement. Mr. Randall, Pete Randall testified there were no other understandings to protect his mother. I have the right to cross-examine the man about whether there are some.
This witness doesn't know what Pete Randall knows.
This witness was right there if I could be allowed to develop.
I guess the question was directed as to whether the witness observed something or not. I can certainly answer that.
Were you the witness for the statement form from Mrs. Randall?
Yes.
Do you recall that she crossed out the word promises, not only on the statement form, but you also had her sign a consent form for search? She crossed it out on both of them.
Right. I do recall that now.
Okay. And when that search was going on, when you're looking for the stuff hidden in the wall, you're there, right?
That's right.
Mrs. Randall's there, right?
Yes.
And Lynn Obie's there.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Yes, she was.
Could you tell the people in the jury who Lynn Obie is?
Lynn Obie is Patrick Randall's attorney.
And that search was done as a result of arrangements that Patrick's attorney had made with the Attorney General's office. You wrote that in a report, didn't you?
Right.
Now, with all those things going on, was there a promise to Pete, his lawyer, or his mother that she wouldn't be charged.
The promise that I'm aware of is that we just said the only thing that we're looking for is that bag. Just show us where it is and that's all we want, that we weren't going to search her entire house. I didn't make any promises as to specific deals between the Attorney General's office and her, no.
Now, did you talk to, you yourself interviewed these three boys on some occasion?
Yes.
Can you tell the jury when that was and how it came about?
We began the interviews somewhere around January 22nd of the three boys. They began January 22nd, went into January 23rd, interviewing one of them at a time. From there, the information that they knew was collected, and it was decided that deals would be made after those conversations.
Why don't we take the boys one at a time and let me ask you about some things that they may have said, okay? If you could think about when you talked with J.R., Vance Ladden, for a moment. Did Vance Ladden tell you that 1 month before the murder, Cecilia Pierce and Raymond Fowler were looking for a gun to be used in the murder?
Objection, Your Honor. Can we approach?
Question I just asked you, I can't say it word for word, but it's something to the effect of, when you're talking to J.R. In January of this year, did he tell you that 1 month before the murder, Cecilia Pierce and Raymond Fowler were looking for a gun to be used in the murder?
I'd have to look at the report from
Do you have it there with you?
Ladden. Yeah, if you have the page number, I can find it.
Okay. It'll take me a moment too. Why don't you, while you're doing that, why don't you take out all three statements and just have them ready?
Okay.
How do you do this? How do you generate a report like this?
What we do is have handwritten notes and write down what the person is saying while he's saying it, and later generate the police report from the handwritten notes.
In this particular case, would you agree with me that this is probably the most important case in your life?
At this point, yes.
So you took a lot of care when you interviewed these kids, I hope.
Right.
All right. You could go to 878 for a minute. I think Mr. Zippi's able to find that.
I'm sorry, what page?
878, right at the top of the page.
I don't have page 878 with me.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, you get a chance to read that through? Remember the previous question I asked you?
Right.
I asked.
Yes.
Let me state it again so we're all together. I asked you if Vladimir had told you that approximately 1 month before the murder, that Cecilia Pierce and Raymond Fowler were trying to find a gun to be used in the murder.
Right.
Did Vladimir say that to you that night?
Yes, he did. The explanation that he gave for her finding a gun was that she knew the location of one in the glove compartment of the car.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. She knew the location, I didn't hear the rest.
Of a gun that it was supposedly in a glove compartment of a car, according to Latimer at that time.
Okay, so Mr. Latimer told you that Cecilia Pierce knew the location of a gun in the glove compartment of a car and that someone went to look for it?
He didn't tell me that someone went to look for it.
Okay. He told you that they were the reason they were trying to find the gun was to be used in the murder, right?
Objection, Your Honor.
I'll withdraw. Do you remember any of the boys telling you anything about Bill Flynn's reaction after the murder, how he felt?
Objection is to the form of the question, any of the boys, Your Honor. To be fair to the witness, I think we should specify.
Before the vote, specify. First of all, do you remember Patrick Randall telling you anything about that? How Bill Flynn felt about killing?
Yes, I do.
What can you tell us about that?
After the murder, when Bill Flynn and Patrick Randall were picked up in the car on the way back to Seabrook, according to Patrick Randall, Bill Flynn made the statement that he can't believe he just killed a guy, and he mentioned something about power, and he said something about the thrill of it all.
Thrill of killing.
Objection is to the form of the question, Your Honor.
Was it the thrill of killing? They said?
I don't believe he said the thrill of killing. I just think he said the thrill of it. I
You
don't
have
think.
your report there, sir?
Yes.
I think it's on page 855. I think you're right about it, too. Why don't you tell the jury what the things Flynn said? Did he say, "I can't believe I killed this guy"?
I object. The reason I don't think it's...
Well, I think that the council should put it in the context of who is saying who said what, instead of what someone said. I presume you're saying that someone else said someone said something.
That's correct. The objection's well taken.
Judge, I would also like to state the further basis of my objection that this is improper impeachment. There's no prior consistent of Pete Randall that he's trying to impeach about. Pete Randall said exactly this in his statement.
That's not what Pete Randall said, and we'd like to approach. I can argue about it from here, or I can approach it next.
Let me argue about it. I'm going to sustain the state's objection. The jury will take its own recollection of what Mr. Randall said on the stand concerning this point.
You need a rule or sustain it?
I'm sustaining the state's objection.
Could we approach for minutes, because I'm not clear on what the court's ruling. I'd like to make a record of it.
We can go ahead and make a record, counsel, but I just sustained the objection, and the ruling is going to stand.
It's just not clear, Your Honor, if I can go on the subject or not. I'm really not clear.
I sustained the objection to that question.
I understand that there were two objections to the question, I believe, Your Honor. The first was that I didn't say who said it, and I agree with that part of the objection. I'm not sure if you're sustaining it on that basis.
He's also sustaining on the basis that it's improper impeachment, I guess, of a witness who was not on the stand. Correct, counsel?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I would like to make a record on that, Your Honor, if I could.
Go ahead.
Okay, my recollection of what Mr. Randall said was that he said something about the power. That Bill Flynn said something about the power, but he said he didn't think he said anything about the thrill. That's different.
And, well, I'll allow him to answer that question if it is differs from what you just explained. Again, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, to the extent that the detective's answer differs at all from what you heard on the stand from Mr. Randall concerning Mr. Flynn's statements, get your own recollection of what you heard from Mr. Randall on the stand.
Detective, I'll try to be very precise with it here. We're now talking about you talking to Pete Randall in January of this year, okay?
Right.
Your interview, did Pete Randall tell you that that night after the killing, on the ride back, that Bill Flynn talked about the thrill of what he did and what a charge he got out of it?
Yes.
Look at that just a moment.
Pardon me?
All right. Is that one of the factors that the court looks at, how mature they are, in deciding whether to treat them as adults?
I believe so, yes.
So if someone wanted these boys to be treated as juveniles, it would be in their interest to say they were immature, correct?
Yes.
Did you ask Pamela Smart whether Vladimir and Flynn were on that scale of 1 to 10? Did she put them below an average degree of maturity?
No, she didn't.
Did she put them above the 5 points for the average degree of maturity?
Yes, she did.
Thank you, sir. No further questions.
Detective, if someone had said to you, Pamela Smart, Pamela Smart said to you these people were 1 or 2 of the maturity level,
Objection.
That's not normal to you?
Wait a minute.
This is a leading question.
First of all, you can't both talk at once. Bill, did you get what Mr. Toomey said?
Yes, I did.
Now, as to your objection regarding a leading question, I will sustain it.
I was,
Pardon me?
I'll withdraw the question.
All right?
Now, I'm just,
Sustain. You don't have to, the objection is sustained. The jury will-
I thought you could rephrase. I won't rephrase, I'll just drop it. Whatever, thank you. I understand, I'm sorry. My mind's thinking quicker than my mouth. Detective, this was given to you in this condition, is that correct?
Yes, it was.
There's a screw on the back of it. Do you see the screw there?
Yes, I do.
Was there a nut that was given to you?
Not that I know of, no.
Did you ever try to put a nut on there to see if that would tighten up the base?
No.
Detective, was there anything that you saw at that scene that indicated that this candlestick was in fact used to strike that wall?
No.
It was just that the defendant had pointed out a chip on the wall to you, is that correct?
Yes.
And she gave you this candlestick.
Yes.
So when the defense attorney said it could have been used to strike the wall and cause that chip, that's just the defense attorney's suggestion, correct?
Objection, Your Honor, it's all leading. Every one of those questions.
It's leading, and the jury will take its own recollection of what defense counsel questioned and what the witness answered.
Detective, could this damage have been caused just by dropping this candlestick to the floor?
Yes.
Now, Pamela Smart showed you that chip by the light, is that correct?
Yes, she did.
That's the light as you walk in on the left,
Correct.
and she pointed it out to you?
Yes.
And what day was it?
It was somewhere around May 9th. I don't recall the exact date.
Do you remember when the state police photographed the crime scene?
Yes, yes. May 1st. Or May 2nd.
You recognize this?
Yes, I do.
That photograph of the front door with the light switch?
Yes, it is.
See any chip in that photograph?
I don't see the chip depicted in the photograph, no.
Here's a State's Exhibit number 7. Do you recognize this?
Yes, I do.
Okay, do you see any chip in that photograph?
I don't see the chip in this photograph. I see several light flashes from the film.
Like dust particles? Is that what you mean?
Right, yeah.
How about State's Exhibit number 3? See any chip in that photograph?
No, I don't.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Maggi, I just asked you about
I was making a list for
dropping
shopping.
on the floor.
What I need for the week.
Could cause that
Sorry about
damage.
that. I saw the fajita.
Yeah, it's possible.
It's possible. You know there's another
I'm
candlestick
awake.
that matches that, it's not broken, right?
Yes.
Hard set. Did you ever take the other candlestick and drop it on a carpeted floor and see if it would do that?
No, I didn't do any testing like that.
To really answer this question, you really want to know how far it's dropped from, correct?
Sure.
You want to know if someone threw it or if they just dropped it, right?
Right.
Okay, did Billy Flynn tell you that he put the candlestick down?
Yeah, he said that he put it down or dropped it at some point.
Well, didn't Billy say he dropped it, and Pete said he...
I think I got my
Didn't Pete
meals
say he dropped
planned
it,
through
Billy said he put it
Wednesday.
down?
I don't recall
Dinner's planned.
which one told me what.
Pretty
You
much
were
do a lot
trying to
easy
take a
ones.
picture
Not
of the
doing it
dent
too
on a
crazy.
wall. On the corner there, okay? Right where the stairs go up.
Right.
Would this be the angle you want to take it from, looking straight down towards the back door? Assume the dent's somewhere on this side of the wall, okay, facing the hallway.
Okay.
Okay, would you want to take a picture from down here looking at the door, or would you want to go over and take a picture of the dent?
That wouldn't be the best angle to photograph a specific dent in a wall.
Right. Same's really true for all three of these, isn't it? I mean, you wouldn't stand to take a picture of a dent on the wall. You wouldn't step back and take it at any kind of an angle. You go get a direct shot at it, wouldn't you?
Well, these are general views of the wall and the floor in that area. They're not specific views of any point of the wall.
Right. Okay, thank you, sir.
No question, sir.
You may step down.
All right, we got through it. All right, next Sunday, we got an hour 43 with key witness Cecilia Pierce, the lady that was wired up, who wore a wire during incriminating conversations. We'll keep on rolling. We had a pretty classic murder church here. Got in here a little bit earlier. I've even been thinking about maybe starting back from 9-ish, because I'd probably still get here at like 9:30-ish. Still give us a little bit more time to digest some of this. But yeah, I've got to go shopping. This stream will take you into tonight's stream on the second channel on WrestlePlunge. If you do get over there, just hit a like. That'd be cool. At least help that out for later, maybe in the algorithms. Thanks everyone for coming through here. Any new people that does come through, maybe consider becoming a member here at Publicly Buzzed on Tuesday nights, which I'm going to try to get back into literally this Tuesday night. We have book club, and yeah, come through, check out a book with us. And it also helps out the channel, which is cool. Is that completely on screen? There we go. But yeah, everyone, have a great Sunday. Hope to see you tonight, 6 Eastern on WrestlePlunge. We're going to go back to Texas, 1985. Otherwise, I'm going to be having a show Sunday night at 8, and then, of course, book club starts about 9 to 9:15-ish, somewhere in there. So, yeah, I'm excited about that one. That one sounds interesting. And then we have Pamela Smart also is going to be on the stand at some point as well. So we're making our way through this. I'd say we still have quite a little bit left. Video wise, we still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 videos. So I'd say at least a few more months maybe with this one. I mean, this one's got some time here. We're up to video 19. So, all right, guys, thank you all so much. Have a great Sunday.
Please disperse. Nothing to see here, please.